cyberpunks and retro nerds. This is Neon Trash. Today is my pick, and I'm joined by Johnny Rocket,
Yo.
Dale,
Yo.
and Tommy the Hammer.
Hey.
And today we are watching this 2008 film titled Love Exposure. It is directed by the prolific Japanese filmmaker Sion Sono. He's done Suicide Club, he's done Cold Fish, Strange Circus, anti-porno, all types of crazy shit. And everybody loves him. I feel like if you're a fan of like Takashi Miike, then this guy's probably up your alley as well. And this film is about 4 hours long. It's insane. And not only is it just 4 hours long, but it's also about a guy that's struggling with this like relationship with faith because his father's a priest. And, you know, because of this whole, like, struggle with faith, he basically decides to become the biggest sinner he can. And the movie progresses from that point forward.
Wow.
So, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it sounds like it might be really raunchy, but there's actually some, like, you know, good social commentary and, like, deeper themes going on as well.
Cool.
So I'm really excited to show everyone. I feel like we're all in a great place today. I'm heavily intoxicated, Marcus, so it's like I'm pretty happy to just like go through this with my best friends.
Amen, brother.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Dude, you know me, I love this director too, you know what I'm saying? We've watched plenty of his films together. You've seen Why Don't You Play in Hell, Rocket, so you're familiar with his
Suicide
work.
Club.
Yeah, right.
Both
Oh, yeah.
great, both
Yeah.
great.
I'm actually not going into this completely blind for once.
Right. Dale, have you seen his work before?
I don't think so.
Ooh, we're breaking Dale's cherry on this guy's work. I can't wait. Without further ado, let's just get right to the trailer because this thing is 4 hours long. We'll see you motherfucks on the other side.
We just got done with this tour de force of a film called Love Exposure. 4 hour runtime, but we did it. And I mean, there's lots to talk about. You know, to sum up what is going on in the film really quick, a son is pretty much guilted into becoming the ultimate sinner by his father. A love triangle ensues. A cult is involved. There's literally, I mean, there's so much in the movie. To sum up the plot is almost impossible.
It is.
So much is going on. And, you know, for me, I honestly, even though the film is incredibly long, like, I don't mind it. And to know that the original cut of this film was supposed to be 6 hours, like, by the time I get to the end, I understand it though, because I like the characters.
Crazy as that sounds, yeah.
I like the characters, and I will not spoil the ending. I'm not mad about the ending, but like I can see how it ended early. Like I could tell that there was probably more the director wanted to get to, but you know, asking anyone to sit through 6 hours of a film would be tough.
What an incredible piece of cinema. Like, this is truly unlike anything I've ever seen. Like, I mean, the length alone, I mean, I think this has to be literally the longest movie I've ever attempted to watch. Like, I mean, it's incredible. I can't find enough superlatives to describe it. And the fact that it holds your interest for all 4 hours, like if you're feeling like you're going to want to take a dive in this, get yourself the comfiest chair in your house, because you're going to want to sit in it and watch this entire movie, because you will just be like, what is going to happen now? What is going to happen next? Like, you know, it's so incredibly cerebral, but, you know, it tickles that part of you where you're just like, okay, yeah, like, all right, you know, it starts you off, you know, with likable character, you know, and just enough weird twists and odd tricks of cinematography to, you know, kind of engage it. Okay, this isn't, you know, quite normal. I know I'm in for something different, and it just slow drips little bits of oddities, and suddenly, you know, you're watching these crazy fever dream sequences, and you're totally along for the ride.
I mean, for me, okay, so I liked Love Exposure. I thought this was a pretty good movie. if we're talking solely based on where does it stack up with his other films, I wouldn't say it's my favorite of his, but like it's still definitively Sono. Like, and I like him as a director, so I gotta say I liked the movie, but at the same time I think we need to redefine the cinematic experience here. I feel like a lot of people hear a 4-hour movie and they go, oh my god, really? But in today's day and age, in this generation, everyone goes on a Netflix or whatever app is their choice app, and they'll plow through 3-4 episodes of a show. Okay?
Right.
So they will spend 3.5 hours with CSI or whatever the fuck. Okay? So that concept does not hold water, in my opinion. So if your complaint is the length, bullshit. Okay? That being said, and one thing that most people might not touch on is in a lot of Asian culture, soap operas and this whole like dramatic TV show element is big. I know a lot of people that aren't even Asian themselves, and they watch these shows. They love, South Korean soap opera dramas. They like that stuff, and I feel like that's actually at the root of this movie. I feel like this is kind of soap opera-like, and I know that might trivialize what's going on here for some people, but it shouldn't either.
I really enjoyed it. This movie, I like how it was broken up into 3 parts or 3 acts, however you want to call it. There's definitely the introduction and the lure, and then the crescendo and the resolve. The way it was set up and broken up was really well done. All the camera angles, there's just such crazy fun scenes. There's really serious drama. Like, this movie really is a total package. It has everything.
You run the gamut of emotions.
Absolutely.
You really do.
Yeah.
It has to be done in 4 hours, and I understand also why it could have taken 6, because there's so much depth to the individual character development, each character, that really pays off in this movie. Like, there's a lot of characters, but they actually dive into them and let you know what's going on. And I can see kind of what Tom says. Sometimes it wanders off a little too much, but it adds to the character development.
Right.
And the panty kung fu is fucking hilarious.
Oh my god. Okay, let's dive into that real quick.
Yeah, you gotta touch on that.
When Ben was telling me about the comedic elements to this movie, I didn't know where it would come in from that subject matter. How fucking hysterical. Every scene with him doing flips, rolls, ninja moves, the weapons, I could watch that all day.
Dude, the upskirt shot weapon.
Undeniably compromises at least 2 hours of the movie. Is like this whole voyeuristic fantasy. And it's disgusting. I mean, no one wants to see someone sneaking shots of a girl's panties. Like, it's deplorable, but at the same time, I'm cracking up. Why is that?
Well, I feel like I might have the answer.
Oh.
So, like, I agree that this film is soap opera-y. Although I would argue that Suicide Club and even Strange Circus are too. And I feel like one of the main draws to Sono is that he takes, like, these completely unpalatable, like, themes or, like, completely deplorable people, and then gets us to care about them. I mean, ultimately, if you were to tell any of us, like, hey, there's this guy that does kung fu upskirt photography, we might be slightly intrigued because it's like kung fu, but like ultimately we'd be like, dude, that guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But like literally, we were instantly like, we cared about this character.
It was the
like,
setup.
Yes.
It was just the perfect blend of something so depraved, especially in Japanese culture. Like that's such a depraved thing. Like they were calling, king of the perverts. But to really, I don't know, to get you to laugh at it like that, like just the outrageousness with seriously, using like the camera on the chain and whipping it around like
a remote car.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
And some of those scenes, like, they're so ridiculous.
So I saw it with my good friend Itwa. Shout out to Itwa. He loved it as well, and like I said, this is one of those things. It's like it's long-winded, but it needs to be. I can't see any fault with like any of the scenes. They tried to develop everyone from his father to him to the villain to his love interest, like everyone. And then the side characters, which are less important, I actually still like. You know, they were around just enough to like not be annoying and still be likable. And so, for me, I feel like this is pretty much Sono's most well-crafted film. I feel like all of the best of his filmmaking is in this movie. So for me, and the fact that I could have actually handled 2 more hours of this, I'm going 10.
Ooh, la la. Sucky, sucky.
Dang. I mean, I don't know if I could say, like, you know, every character was necessarily likable, but every character evoked some kind of emotion out of you and did it very well. Like, you really found yourself, committed one way or another and had strong feelings one way or another about every single character, which allowed you to continue to watch this hour after hour after hour. And, I mean, goodness gracious. You know, I mean, I would say, like I love to say, this is not really in my wheelhouse whatsoever. I'm still giving this a 9 out of 10.
Ooh.
Like, this was still a really, really good film. Like, definitely not something you're just gonna put on at the party, you know? Like, we're sitting down and watching a film, alright, guys? Like, this is, I don't know, this is some serious, like, in the trenches movie watching shit right here. And it was fantastic. 9 out of 10 stars. Bee Cee, great pick, my man.
Thank you.
Tommy?
Alright, so, you know, it isn't my favorite Sono movie, but I like it a lot. I think it's really good. I mean, there's a lot to admire in this film, especially its runtime. I mean, that is ambitious. To think that you can do a 4-hour movie, and, I mean, part of that has to be you don't give a shit as a director. And that is commendable, and that's one of the things I love about this director. He doesn't give a shit. He does things his way. You know what I mean?
He's got his vision for this story, and this is how he wants to tell it.
And he's going to tell it exactly that way. And you're right, Bee Cee. This is, there's a lot in this movie that you see parallels to with his other work, you know? For me, though, it comes down to, it really does come down to palatability in this instance, which is strange because I don't normally go to a film and be like, you know, how palatable are you? At 4 hours, you have to, and I liked the lead, I liked the villain, I liked these characters, so it wasn't that I wasn't trying to spend time with these guys, I just felt like there was actually a glass ceiling to the story, you know what I'm saying? And there was a point in time when I was just like, okay, I know we're gonna reach culmination, and I know that we're gonna have everything kind of coming together, but am I really that invested? And I was and I wasn't. So for me, out of 10 stars, I gotta give this a strong 7.5 or 8 out of 10. Dale, where you at, man?
Man, this is such a treat. I'm gonna have to give this 10 gallons of blood out of a severed penis.
Whoa! Holy shit! That's a lot of penis blood. Yeah. Zoinks!
It's like it touches on the fact that one of the major things I liked is it does touch on the fact that Japan does have a problem with weird Christian cults.
I mean, they have a problem with weird Christian cults and upskirt photography.
Even though, it did spin its wheels here and there, kind of a thing, but I mean, I chalk that kind of stuff up to just cultural differences, honestly, and it was engrossing enough that I sat there with it and waited for things to kind of move on a little bit. Like, I was okay with that, you know? It's heavy, man. It is heavy. And, definitely not for everyone. You know, I mean, I wouldn't have said it was for me at the beginning, honestly, but, I mean, it did kind of win me over. Like, you know what? Like, I can really appreciate this kind of a cinema and appreciate a director's vision for this kind of a story. Like, he's got this idea, and it just happens to take 4 hours to get his vision across. And I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with that. I can accept that. Very cool.
I've always been a big fan of the underdog, over-the-top, weird romance adventure. And that's kind of what this is if you really look at it.
It's a romance movie at its core.
It's more a story about a boy, but he eventually falls in love and it just goes nuts. So I've always loved films like that.
Right?
Anyways, guys, I hope we've been informative to you motherfuckers. Until the next time, you know what channel we be. Neon Trash YouTube. Tune in. Peace out, fuckers. Bow.